it's a great moment. You know, it's very exciting to be on the stage with President Bill Clinton and have him recognize our idea as one that's forward-thinking and innovative and one that's really going to impact the lives of millions of people across the world.
And then when he said it was Magic's bus, I was very happy and very excited, and it kind of felt surreal when I went just up the stage and shook his hands and the hands of like so many, you know, these distinguished judges we had. So it was an amazing experience. I'll never forget it.
Hello and welcome to another episode of CEO Roundtable. This is your host, David Kim.
Hi, I'm Sonia Kabra, co-founder and director at BuuPass. Did you know that travelers in Africa waste an average of 2 hours and $2 to get an intercity transport ticket? This is a $4 billion opportunity in East Africa alone. BuuPass is a platform that works with transport operators to provide digital solutions to make travel accessible. Unlike other alternatives, our users can use interactive SMS known as USSD. No internet is required to book a travel ticket with BuuPass. BuuPass has bus, train, and flight options all in one platform. We have won more than 10 awards, including the 2016 Hult Prize global competition and Bosch Best African Mobility Startup in 2019. Our vision is to make transport accessible for people and to live a life without borders. BuuPass has sold more than 3 million tickets since 2017, and we have onboarded 35 transport operators so far. I traveled to Kenya for the first time to pilot the idea for BuuPass in 2016, right after graduating from Orlam College.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Your life journey looks quite interesting, from India to Hong Kong to US and now Africa. Why don't you tell us about that?
Okay. Yeah, I've been very lucky to get the opportunity to live in such different places. So I'm originally from India, from a town called Jalgaon. It's a town close to Mumbai. That's where I grew up, and I was there until my 10th grade. And growing up, I saw both my parents pursuing their businesses and their entrepreneurial ventures. And so I was exposed to the idea of entrepreneurship and starting something of your own from the very beginning. However, as I was continuing to do the education in India, I realized that the Indian education system really boxed you into a few career choices. And you had to make the decision at a very early age. You know, by your 10th grade, you had to choose whether you are a science, you're going to take the science track or the commerce track. And, if you're taking the science track, the two most preferred professions you can be in is either become a doctor or an engineer. But at that point, I did not feel very ready to make that decision about the rest of my life that early. So I was looking for experiences that would broaden my horizon. And that's how I came across UWC. And the UWC mission, UWC or United World College, their mission is to make education a force to unite people, nations, and cultures for peace and sustainable future. And that really resonated with me. So I went through the selection process, and I was selected to go on scholarship to the UWC in Hong Kong. There are around 15 UWCs all around the world right now, and there's almost in every continent, and Hong Kong is one of them. So that was definitely the me moving from India, from a small town to Hong Kong, which is one of the most dynamic cities in the world, was pretty a pretty big shift for me. And I was not only, in that city and experiencing that life, but also living with people from 80 different countries, living with them, studying with them, and with the unified mission of making the world a better place. So those 2 years in Hong Kong, I was there from 2010 to 2012. Those were really life changing. And after that, I applied for college to go to the US. I studied at Earlham College in Richmond, Indiana. It's a small liberal arts college, and I was majoring in biochemistry. But as I was majoring in biochemistry, I took some opportunities to try out different things to see, because I was still exploring what I really want to do. And I was good at biochemistry, and I think one of the reasons I pursued it was like I was good at the subject and it interested me. And I took up some internships and jobs that let me um, be research assistants and take part in research. Although that experience was great, but I did not really see myself doing that for a very, very long time. So I was still thinking about, what I want to do. And this idea of, being an entrepreneur was there with me all the while. So, and in my college, there was no entrepreneurship club. So that's how I founded the college's first entrepreneurship club. And through the club, I found out about the Hult Prize, and Hult Prize is a student business competition, and it's a global competition. And you go through different selection levels, and the prize at the end for the global winner is $1 million. I teamed up with a few of my friends from college to participate in the Hult Prize, and I'll cover more about why did we choose our idea. But we we really wanted to disrupt transportation in the emerging markets, especially in Africa, and that's how we competed there. Then my team eventually emerged as the winner in 2016, getting $1 million in funding. The idea that we competed with and the business that we competed with was based in Kenya. So that's how I then ended up moving to Kenya in 2016, um, to start my business, which is my startup, which is called BuuPass. And right now I am in Kenya since 2016. It's been a great journey, another adventure to start a startup, and it has its ups and downs. But Nairobi especially has a very dynamic technology and startup scene. And also, Kenya is where mobile money started, where it was invented, and the usage here of mobile money is great. So it's an amazing place to be, to start a digital service. Yeah, so that's how I'm in Kenya. So um, right now, we are working on expanding BuuPass, so I'll be in Kenya and a few other African countries eventually.
Your high school sounds like a United Nation, having students from 80 country, not 8 country, right? That's quite a life-changing experience, I can imagine.
Yeah, it was.
I have a question. So you have a lot of international experience. How do you navigate the jungle every time you move to a new country or new place?
To be honest with you, my first move, especially if just moving away from home to a boarding school and then moving to a completely different country, was difficult. And I think it's difficult for anybody who is going to a place with a different culture, and and be staying getting out of your comfort zone. And so in the beginning, I think moving to a new place is always uncomfortable. And that's what I've learned. But every time now that I move to a new place, I feel less uncomfortable. And it's because I think my experience at every place has taught me something new about myself. And right now, I think I would say that there are three lessons. There are three major lessons that I've learned after living in these different places. The first one is to be authentic, to be true to yourself and others around you. And then the second one is, to surround yourself with people who inspire you and push you towards your goals. And this is important because you when you move to a new place, you need to build community, and the way you build community really also determines your success in that place as well. And then the third one is to not to be too hard on yourself when you fail. And especially as an entrepreneur, failure is going to be a huge part of your journey, and every failure is an opportunity for improvement. So these are the three things that I have stayed that have stayed with me when I've moved to a new place.
I understand BuuPass competed in the Hult Prize and became the global winner in 2016, getting 1 million US dollar funding. Tell me about your interesting work story.
Okay. So the Hult Prize is a student business competition, and it's supported by Bill Clinton because it used to be hosted at the Clinton Global Initiative until 2016. Now it's being hosted at the United Nations. So these are the finals that are hosted there. And, President Bill Clinton is a part of of contributing to the new challenge that the Hult Prize has every year. So every year, Hult Prize puts out a challenge that is very pressing, something that needs to be solved globally. And then it asks students all around the world to come up with solutions in the form of a business. In my year, the challenge was how do you better connect people to goods and services? And our idea was to help them get connected to transport, to make transport accessible so that they can then get connected to economic opportunities, to education, jobs, healthcare. And they every year the global winner for the Hult Prize gets $1 million in seed funding. You also go through training and a business accelerator to make your business investment ready. And another way that the Hult Prize is connected to President Bill Clinton is that he is the one who announces the winner every year, which makes the challenge even more exciting for all the students who are participating in it.
I read a couple of articles about your business and found that the name was Magic Bus, now BuuPass. Why is it BuuPass now?
Yeah, it's an interesting story, and it's something I think a lot of people who are starting a business don't think about or don't care about, but you might have to. So Magic Bus was an already trademarked name. So when we started with Magic Bus, when we came up with the name, we were still in college. We were just like a group of friends trying to compete in a business competition and start a business. So we didn't really care about the trademark, and maybe that's because we did not think that it would grow this big this fast. But when we won the Hult Prize, we were still called Magic Bus, and I think that gave us a lot of press exposure in the media, and that's how the people who had trademarked Magic Bus, which is an NGO in India, found out about us, and then they sent us a letter to change our name because they had globally trademarked the name already. And we were already looking to make our name more locally relevant. So we thought that this would be a good opportunity to go through a rebrand. And that's how we came up with BuuPass. Boo means bus in the slang language of Kenya. It's called Sheng. And so it's like a bus pass. So that's how we came up with BuuPass.
Can you help us to understand the typical challenging situation of public transportation in Kenya? How did you or how have you been serving them now?
Okay, so public transport in Kenya, both within the city as well as intercity public transport, is first of all, it's completely private. And so it's owned by business. It runs, it's a business. You can start your own public transport company, or you join something called a sacco, where you buy a few buses, and then the sacco, which is like a cooperative, then runs it for them, and then you make like daily revenue from them. The issue in public transport in Kenya is that it's undigitized and it's very fragmented, so it's very hard to access it unless you are at the premises or at the bus station to get the ticket. And on an average, a Kenyan spends $2 and 2 hours to access a ticket in Kenya, and that's a significant amount, especially if you are earning less than $5 or $10 a day. And that's where we thought that this is a huge opportunity to digitize transportation and make it accessible. So that's how we are doing it. And then once we started with solving the problem for the traveler, but as we were developing the solution, we also found out that the transport operators themselves also go through a lot of problems, because it's a paper-based and cash-based system. There's a lot of cash leakages that happen, and then their organizations are not very structured as well. So there's a lot that's lost in due to those methods that they use. So there's a huge gap even in digitizing their own operations as well, so that there'll be complete transparency, and then they can improve their operations effectively, so that they can reduce their costs and also stop cash leakages.
Personally, I have experience using the bus booking app in Southeast Asia when I travel on business. They have a couple of similar bus app, in competing in the market together. And then, what is the unique thing about your business model? I mean, your app as compared to the bus booking app we can see in other countries.
Yeah, that's a good question, because I wouldn't say that our idea or our product is very innovative. It's not. It's been done and implemented successfully in so many other parts of the world. But I think what differentiates us is how we have made the product in keeping the context of the market. So the first thing that differentiates us is that we don't just use our website or a mobile application to book. We also have something called USSD, which is like interactive SMS. That can be accessed by the customer to book the ticket. And due to low internet penetration and also high cost of accessing internet, having a USSD application for customers to book, where they only need a telephone line, so they can even use their smartphone, or they can use those analog phones that we used to have, and a lot of people use it even now here, to access BuuPass. And that's the first differentiator we have. And we do get quite a significant amount of our tickets through the USSD channel. The second differentiator that we have is, although we started with buses, one of the things that we do is we always keep our ear on the ground. We always listen to our customers and see, what do they want. And in 2017, the Kenyan government built or launched the SGR Express, which is the railway that goes between Nairobi and Mombasa, two of the major cities in Kenya. And they did not have a online booking or any kind of booking system. You actually had to go to the station to book the ticket. And a lot of our customers are the ones who then, tweeted or, called us and said, why don't we build a solution for them as well? Because we already have a proof of concept in the bus market. And that's how we partnered with Safaricom to provide train ticketing solution for Kenya Railways in partnership with Safaricom. The third differentiator we have is that we first started with a B2C platform, but then eventually we have moved to a B2B2C model. So we not just provide a booking interface for the traveler, but we also provide a transport management system to bus and shuttle operators. And for the bus and shuttle operators in Kenya, they have had a challenge to adopt systems that have already been built elsewhere. For example, been built in India or in Eastern Europe, because they do not match their needs. And we were able to talk to these operators and actually build something that helps them digitize their operations while also reducing their costs. And that has also differentiated us, because now we are able to acquire more transport operators to get on our system. So those are the things that have kept us ahead. And definitely we were the first people, although there are some competitors that have come up. So the first movers advantage has also helped us, stay ahead and into the market.
Your business model is simple and easy to understand, just like Uber and Airbnb, which means that it is also quite easy to copy. Like, what is your plan to deal with the potential competition with the second and third BuuPass in Kenya or Africa?
Yeah, that's a good question, because I wouldn't say that our idea or our product is very innovative. It's not. It's been done and implemented successfully in so many other parts of the world. But I think what differentiates us is how we have made the product in keeping the context of the market. So the first thing that differentiates us is that we don't just use our website or a mobile application to book. We also have something called USSD, which is like interactive SMS. That can be accessed by the customer to book the ticket. And due to low internet penetration and also high cost of accessing internet, having a USSD application for customers to book, where they only need a telephone line, so they can even use their smartphone, or they can use those, analog phones that we used to have, and a lot of people use it even now here, to access BuuPass. And that's the first differentiator we have. And we do get quite a significant amount of our tickets through the USSD channel. The second differentiator that we have is, although we started with buses, one of the things that we do is we always keep our ear on the ground. We always listen to our customers and see, what do they want. And in 2017, the Kenyan government built or launched the SGR Express, which is the railway that goes between Nairobi and Mombasa, two of the major cities in Kenya. And they did not have a online booking or any kind of booking system. You actually had to go to the station to book the ticket. And a lot of our customers are the ones who then, tweeted or called us and said, why don't we build a solution for them as well, because we already have a proof of concept in the bus market. And that's how we partnered with Safaricom to provide train ticketing solution for Kenya Railways in partnership with Safaricom. The third differentiator we have is that we first started with a B2C platform, but then eventually we have moved to a B2B2C model. So we not just provide a booking interface for the traveler, but we also provide a transport management system to bus and shuttle operators. And for the bus and shuttle operators in Kenya, they have had a challenge to adopt systems that have already been built elsewhere. For example, been built in India or in Eastern Europe, because they do not match their needs. And we were able to talk to these operators and actually build something that helps them digitize their operations while also reducing their costs. And that has also differentiated us, because now we are able to acquire more transport operators to get on our system. So those are the things that have kept us ahead. And definitely we were the first people, although there are some competitors that have come up. So the first movers advantage has also helped us, stay ahead into the market.
What is next and the end game for BuuPass?
Yeah, so I think we are still very, very new with BuuPass. Even though we started in 2016, I was still graduating. So we seriously, were able to start the business in 2017. So BuuPass right now is in the growth stage, where we are trying to grow trying to get more transport operators on our platform, and also more users. And apart from the product innovation that I talked about, we are also looking to, in the very near future, looking to expand beyond Kenya to consolidate the East African market. We have also gotten a lot of interest of licensing our product in different markets. So we will be successfully licensing in a few other markets in East Africa and West Africa as well. So that's next for us. In terms of the end game, I think most of the startup founders want their startup to be to have a great valuation and be very successful, so you can have a great exit. What that exit will be is not very clear, but that's what we are working towards, to build a platform that is used throughout Africa, and we have positioned ourselves well for a great exit.
I can imagine running a startup in Africa is different from the running a startup in somewhere else in developed economies. If you are asked to give some advice to young people who are interested in launching a startup in Africa, what would you say are the top 2 or 3 skills needed to be successful entrepreneur in frontier market like Africa?
Yeah, I think first thing that you really need to know is that you can't just copy and paste a solution. If it works in your market, or if it works in the US, it's not guaranteed that it'll work in an emerging market or in a developing market. And so you make sure that you solve a real problem. So if you're able to solve a real problem, a real pain point for your users, you would be able to get them to pay for it. The second one is to is to, yes, like you would have your own expertise, your own experience, but when you're going into a new market, what has really helped me is to come in with a beginner's mindset and to not just enforce your ideas upon it, but to learn from the market and the culture that you are a part of. So having that humble mindset is also something that I would advise on. And then the third one is, to have local advisors. And BuuPass not just has advisors from, global tech startup scene, but also advisors who are in the transportation and tech ecosystem locally. And that really helps you to talk to them about the real challenges that you will face in the market, because there'll be an array of challenges that you'll face, especially if you are trying to set up a business in Africa, from regulatory perspective to getting good talent, or to just getting customers, and that's where the local advisors can really help you.
Thank you very much for listening to this episode. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and share with your friend and drop me a review. Goodbye.